Eileen, the first season of Crazy Ex-Girlfriend was really critically acclaimed and beloved by audience members. Going into season 2, what were some of the expectations by you and the other creatives behind it?
We didn't really have, we had, hold on for 1 second. Hey, Alden, I'm on the thing, but can you guys, because I'm here. Yeah. Hi. That's Alden. And yeah, anyway. Going into the second season, we were just wanting to kind of continue the story, and we were like so thrilled to have gotten that second season because we're not abundantly well rated. But no, we were just excited to continue telling the story. And, when Rachel and I had pitched a show and conceived the show, we had conceived it in 4 distinct chapters. And so we knew where we wanted every season to go. So we were just excited to tell that story. And then last season, a lot happened. We had a major character leave. We added a new member of the cast. And so we had, and Paula's life changed a lot. But we were excited to sort of move into the second chapter of Rebecca's life. Sort of, the first season was Josh just happens to live here. And then at the end of that, she tells him, I came here for you. And she basically can't put that cat back in the bag. And then season 2 is all about her finding strategies to make that okay and sort of to make her lies palatable to him. And she does it so well that he proposes to her.
Right. So talk a little bit more about some of the development of this season. You're both the co-creator and one of the executive producers. So how do you and Rachel Bloom work together to chart the 13 episodes of this season?
Of season 2?
Yes.
So the way it works is that in between seasons, Rachel and I spend a lot of time together, sort of hanging out and talking, and it's what we love to do, and it's I always say we have like a folk art level of detail about the show because we spend so much time talking about it that there's so many things that we know about the show. There's many things we know about the show that we haven't had a chance to do yet. So it's built in conversation between me and Rachel, and we talk a ton, and then we develop a document that we send to all the writers. And then Rachel is with us for about 8 to 10 weeks in the beginning of the season. She's in the writer's room with all the writers, and that's really great and fun for us. We try and get a huge lead on scripts if we can, and on songs, because when we start shooting, Rachel is very, very busy, and she's not in the writer's room much. And as the showrunner, I'm sort of responsible for coordinating everything, and most of my time is spent in the writer's room where I'm sort of in charge of that process. But a lot of what I have to do in running that process is make sure that Rachel is looped in on everything, reading everything. She and I do rewrites over the weekend. So we have sort of a special little aspect to our show, which is that we need to make sure that the co-creator is also, sort of very up to speed on everything. And then also, obviously, she's writing songs as we're going. So there's a songwriting process that's happening as there's the script writing process, and they really are hand in hand. They can't function without each other. So we have Rachel and Adam Schlesinger and Jack Dolgen are 3 songwriters, and we're also always making sure that Rachel is looped into that and also getting her songs done and getting her songs in. So it's a little bit more of an intricate process, but because I'm sort of marshaling the writer's room process, that keeps that going in sort of an efficient manner.
I wanted to talk about the musical numbers, and since you bring them up, this is a good jumping off point, because you guys do 2 numbers
at least
per episode. Yeah, at least, which is incredibly ambitious for any television show. Can you talk about some of the challenges of that?
I mean, the reason that is that way is because I didn't really know how hard it was going to be. I think the songwriters had more of a sense of how hard it was going to be. And Rachel is young, and she didn't really care if it was going to be hard. But I know Adam Schlesinger, who's our main music producer, and one of the main songwriters, he just was like, okay, well, I guess we can try, because writing 2 or 3 original songs per episode is a huge amount of work. But they really come through. Basically what we do is once the story is broken and shaped, and the outline is shaped, we then go through the process of locking in the songs. The songs don't lead the scripts lead the stories. And so once we have the scripts and the stories, we can start working on the songs. And usually Adam, Jack, or Rachel will take the lead with one of the songs. And then be turning in drafts. So we're looking at drafts and reading and listening to demos and stuff like that as we're working on the writing of the show. And Jack is also a writer in the room. So Jack and I are the ones who are both in the songwriting process and the room most frequently. And Rachel obviously covers both as well. So it's just we the first season there was a lot of trial and error to kind of get a process going, but now we have a pretty solid process of getting sort of those songs out the door.
Well, what was the thinking behind making it a musical comedy? What did the songs add to it?
Well, it kind of was always a part of the development of the show, because I met Rachel because I loved her music comedy videos. And so when we met, I had this idea of doing something, A Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, which was sort of a deconstruction of a romantic comedy trope. And when I met her, I hadn't actually thought of it, but when I met her and I started talking to her, I hadn't thought, oh, this could be a TV show. But when I met her in our first meeting, I thought, oh, this is the way to do it. And she had been wanting to do a musical comedy television show, obviously, for years. And this seemed like a way to do it where the music isn't extrinsic to the show. The music is an intrinsic part of understanding her character and her journey. And it's very much a part of the storytelling. So for me, I'm not really a musicals person, probably not even a musical person really either. But I see it very much as functioning in the storytelling and in the building of the characters, and I don't really see it as outside or external to the show in any way. And so that's how we build the songs. Right.
One of the interesting developments in this season in Rebecca's character is that you start to see the fact that kind of obsessive love that she has for Josh is not necessarily a good thing.
Oh gosh, it's never a good thing. It's definitely not a good thing. Yeah.
Well, can you talk a little bit about that, because putting that into this season? Because the first season was so much built on her trying to win this guy's heart and wasting her whole life around it.
Well, he is our MacGuffin. He is a walking, breathing, talking, living MacGuffin. He is the blue meth of Breaking Bad. I mean, he is the object. He is the fetishized object that sort of drives her. But there, and it's like a meteor hit him. He just so happened to be caught in the crosshairs of Rebecca's need to be obsessively loved, and he is a little bit blank. So it allows her to kind of project what she wants onto someone, and he's very impressed by her. He's not really an equal match for her. They do have, I think, a visible rapport and affection for each other, but basically he doesn't know what story he's in the first two seasons.
Right. Speaking of Josh, one of the great qualities of the show is that there is a large ensemble that you guys focus on. Can you talk about plotting the different arcs this season for Paula and everybody else?
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the tremendous joys of writing this show is this ensemble. And it was one of the great things about moving from Showtime, where we were doing a half hour, that was much more based around Rebecca, to this hour format where we really can explore the other characters more. And, we love our supporting characters. We love our supporting actors. So it's always a thrill for us. And I think if you watch the show, you'll notice that Rachel has no vanity she doesn't need to stick herself in every song, and she's very, very generous about writing beautiful songs for other people this season. She wrote Maybe This Dream for Donna, and she wrote Shit Show for Santino. So, there's an amazing generosity on her part about sharing the songs and writing for other people. And I think she and I are both fans of every actor on our show, and so we love to give them a showcase.
Right. I wanted to talk a little bit about your experiences as the showrunner, because this is your first real experience doing something like that. You've had a long career as a writer. What were some of your growing pains?
I mean, it's, there's a friend of mine used to say it's building the boat at sea. It's like, you're just in the middle of the ocean. You got some wood planks and a hammer and a nail, and you're trying to build the boat and not drown yourself. But, I always felt like the writer's room taught us how to run a writer's room. The ADs taught us how to make the set run. Our line producer, Sarah, taught us how to get the show in, reasonably and on budget. We learned so much from the people that were already here. And I think when you take on a new role, one of the things that's important to do is to turn to people and say, what's going on? Who's that? And we're very, very lucky in that we have a lot of experienced people around us. And our secret weapon is a woman named Erin Ehrlich, who worked on Awkward and King of the Hill. And she's an executive producer also. And she was someone that I met with and I just fell in love with and brought in to really someone who had really been working in television for 20 years and knew the mechanics of it. And she was incredibly and continues to be incredibly helpful to me and is an incredibly selfless person. She's directed 2 episodes. She's going to direct another 2 this year. And she really is my secret weapon. She's the person that I can send into editorial. She can cover us on set. And so, we draw on the team that we have, and now going into the 3rd season, our writer producers are really very experienced. And so, we have like an even more support. But it's a juggling act, and anybody who's run a show will tell you, it's just, I think a huge part of it is to try and keep yourself sane and healthy, and to not create sort of fake emergencies, which I call foemergencies. I always ask that no one ever say it's urgent unless someone's actually bleeding, because I think at the end of the day it really is still just a television show, and we're here to have fun and enjoy the process. We're so lucky to have the show, and so one of my main goals is to make it as fun and enjoyable for people, and to make it a workplace that people are excited to come to, because I think that shows in the product as well.
Well, you've had a long career as a screenwriter, including Devil Wears Prada, so you've got some experience there. Can you talk about maybe the changes in your style of writing to go onto this larger canvas?
I mean, I was shocked. The first season we did a 900-minute movie. We make a movie every 3 weeks. I still am amazed by that, but I love it because, as a screenwriter, such a small percentage of what you write actually gets made. And so I used to feel like I was, and I've had 8 movies made, and I've probably written, 40 scripts or something. So, it was great to get out of the document production business and to get into the production business.
You've also gotten to direct for the first time.
Yes, I've directed 2 episodes.
Both of them the season finales. Why did you choose to do the season finales?
I have no choice because the writer's room, that's 90% of where I am, and that's the engine room of the show is the writer's room. So that's where I need to be, and taking care of sort of the other script stuff. And then when the writer's room closes, that's really when I go into prep, and I'm able to really enjoy writing, directing that last episode without the day-to-day pressure of the writer's room. So it's been tremendously fun. And it's also a nice sort of culminating experience for me, because I've been working with the crew the whole season. I've been working with everyone and kind of shepherding the process, but then it's an opportunity for me to really sort of get to be with everyone 24/7. And the other thing is, Rachel and I don't get to see each other when we're making the show as much as we would like. And, one of the reasons we wanted to do this show was to be together. And when I'm directing, we get to be, hang out together and really sort of, that's why I also love the writing period, because Rachel and I get to really be together. And during the season where she's acting and I'm writing, we're always kind of running to kind of try and find each other. And the ADs, when they see me coming towards set, they always get very nervous, because they know if Rachel and I start talking, time will be wasted, or time will be spent. So
well, let's talk a little bit about the finale of this season. Can Josh take a leap of faith? What were some of the specific challenges of that for you as a director and writer?
Well, I'll tell you, the most salient logistical challenge was we were shooting at a location, a lot of the stuff takes place in daylight, and it was getting dark at 4:45 because we shot it so late in the year. So that was really challenging. If we had shot in the summer where we could have been shooting until 7 o'clock at night, so that dictated our schedule to a large extent. And there were some stuff that I wanted to get on location that we had to get on our build on our set because we, you know, we just didn't have as much available light. That's a logistical challenge. I would say, you know, story-wise, the finale is in a slightly different tone from the rest of the season, just because it sort of deals with her past and sort of unearthing some things about her past. And so there was an emotional intensity to that. And that was really fun, but also it was, you know, there was a challenge to that.
Well, it also leaves us on a bit of a cliffhanger, both literally and metaphorically. Yes. Yes. Can you give us any indication, have you already started plotting out season 3 at all? Or?
Well, that's what we're doing right now. That's where I am right now. I am here in the office. We just started. We had 1 week of we had 1 week where Rachel and I have been working for weeks and weeks together, kind of building the season. And then we officially opened the writer's room last week. And then this week we're doing a songwriting week. So as I was talking to you, Adam Schlesinger just walked by, Jack Dolgen just walked by, Rachel's here. So we're really in the process of, Rachel and I have like a whole bunch of song ideas. So we're trying to get those kind of developed and in the process of going. Then the writers are joining us at the end of this week. They're going to get downloaded on what we've done so far. And then the writer's room really starts up on Monday.
Oh, wonderful. Wonderful. As people continue to discover the show, what do you hope audience members take away from it?
You know, for us, it's really a show about this woman's journey and her sort of emotional journey, but also, you know, to kind of examine love, romantic love, which is something that, you know, we kind of, we presented in a very, I think, uninflected kind of way without understanding the social, anthropological, evolutionary, biological, political implications of obsessive romantic love. And that's something that Rachel and I are both really interested in, and how it sort of makes you behave in ways that are not reasonable. And that I think was the thing that pulled us together initially. So that's something that we return, is sort of, what is falling in love? What is a soulmate? What is a romantic destiny? Why is it so urgent to us? Why does it feel like when you're in love with someone that, you know, nothing else exists in the world? And so we, you know, as somebody who'd written a lot of more traditional romantic comedies, it was a great opportunity to kind of look at those from a little bit more of a cracked perspective. And it just dovetails really nicely with what Rachel does. And, you know, for me, I think Rachel is incredible, and I am always blown away by the amount of stuff she can do, and that she's such a tremendous actor. But, you know, she can do all these other things, but at the end of the day, she's just this incredible performer. And, you know, I feel lucky that I was procrastinating and I stumbled on her work.
Well, Aline, thank you so much, and congratulations on your second season. I look forward to the third. You're welcome.
Thank you. It was great to chat with you.
It was great talking with you too.
Bye. Bye.